Hey everybody, welcome to this Board Game Life episode number 43, titled Setting the Mood. This is the show about board games, tabletop games, games in general, anything else we want to talk about. I am one of your fine hosts for tonight, or today, or for now. Well, not for now. Hopefully I'll be around a lot longer than just for now. But anyway, my name is Rob, and with me as always, I got my good buddy Mark.
Hey, Rob, how you doing? That was quite the long intro.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. So we know that the show's going to be just at least 30 seconds longer than it would normally be. But we don't want to talk about the show. We want to talk about some games and
Yes.
stuff.
Yes,
So,
indeed.
so it's been 2 weeks since the last show that we did. What have you gotten to the table lately? Anything interesting? Anything fun? Anything exciting you want to talk about?
Dude, this was an exciting 2 weeks. I
Really?
cleared, I took 1, 2, 3 games off my shelf of shame
Okay.
and got them to the table, plus
So
some other
200 to go.
games. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But 2 episodes ago, I said I was going to get Parks to
Hmm.
off my shelf of shame to the table. It didn't happen. My daughter had been really sick, and she still is. We're going back to the clinic for like the third time tomorrow.
Oh,
But
jeez.
dude, it's ridiculous.
Hmm.
I'm thinking might be time to rip out some tonsils.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, but we'll see what they say. But anyways, she's feeling better. Still not 100%, but we did get some games played, and we got to play Parks, and we really enjoyed it. She loved it. It's like it's kind of funny. She's like kind of like me. It's like, "Ooh, I love this game," until we play the next new one, and then then that one becomes our favorite.
Yes. The
But
new hotness. Love it.
yep. So we played that, and then I actually got to get back with my gaming group, and I actually taught it to my gaming group, and we had a really good time with it. I also played new to my shelf was one I took. So I was out with my daughter. We were just having a daddy daughter day, and I took her out to see one of the game stores I go to, typically on Thursday nights, to play X-Wing or D&D. And it's a real small store. It's not like the other one that I go to, and that I took you to. That they're like night and day. That one's huge, but this one is like a small little mom and pop shop type. Well, they're all mom and pops.
Yeah.
But this one's a small one. But it's just got some great people that own the place and run it, and they do gaming events. It's a small enough where they set tables up in the store space. Um,
Sure. Yeah.
and but I took her in there just to be like, you know what, I want to share this with you. This is where I come on Thursday. She got to meet one of the
Aw.
ladies that is always there and who actually is part owner with her brother of the store.
Okay.
And so I had, introduced her to her, and we picked up a game called Ramen Fury. Just a
Oh, yeah.
cheap
I've
little
seen that one.
card
Yeah.
game.
Doesn't it like look like a bag of ramen
Yes.
when you
So it's in a
buy? Yeah.
bag, like the
Yeah.
ramen bag, and then you open the bag, and then there's a box inside, and the box looks like noodles.
Okay.
It's kind of cool.
Like the
So,
dried noodles,
yep,
the dried ramen
yep.
noodles.
It's
Nice.
like about the same size as a pack of ramen. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
pretty much the same, and it's just this little fun little card game. It's really reminiscent of Sushi Go,
Okay.
but you don't change hands, but you're trying to put like so many cards. I want to say it's 5 cards down on your bowl. You're trying to build um, a bowl of ramen with like seasoning and proteins and vegetables, stuff like that. And
Sure.
there's a certain way to do it. You get points. So, and it's a fun little board game, or I mean, a card game. So we had good fun with that.
Nice.
I did get Cascadia to the table.
Oh, nice. That's game of the
Love
year.
that game.
Really?
Yes. I love
I
it. I
was,
want to play it again.
yeah, when you mentioned it, I was like, I don't know how that one will go over, but I'm glad that you love it. Yeah, it won. one of the Spiel awards. I don't know if it was Kenner Spiel or the regular one, but I think it was the regular one.
Yeah, it's I really enjoyed it a lot. Um,
Nice.
it I really enjoyed Parks until I played Cascadia, and then it was
Uh-huh.
like, oh, I want to play more Cascadia. And then my daughter's like, she liked Cascadia, but she's like, I want to play more Parks. It's like, no, I'm the boss. I pick.
Yeah.
Um, I really did enjoy Cascadia. It was just
That's
I
like
really had a good
Cascadia
time.
is like your backyard, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it takes place in the Pacific Northwest. So
You got what? You got bears back there. You got salmon,
yeah.
and
Yeah, all the
uh,
animals are here. So
yeah. What other animals in there? Is there like elk or
what is it?
deer?
There's birds,
Yeah,
there's
eagles,
elk,
right? Elk,
birds, elks, salmon,
salmon,
the bears, and
the bears. Yeah,
I think there's one more. Birds, bears, elk, salmon. I'm pretty
yeah. I
sure there
can't
was one more.
remember.
But anyways,
Yeah, I think there
it
were five. Yeah, it's been a while since I played it. I don't remember.
it reminded me it kind of reminded me of King Domino by placing the tiles down with the environments. It kind of but added like the animals to the environments. So and it's interesting because by playing this, both my daughter and I are like, we need to play King Domino again, which we
Hmm.
did.
Oh, nice.
um, and also I've talked
KingDomino.
about my mother. She played Cascadia and King Domino
Oh,
as well.
oh man. Oh, I could see
So
King Domino going over well. I don't know about Cascadia.
yeah, she was a little lost.
Yeah.
So, but we're trying, and
Oh,
she's
no, absolutely.
that's
Come back
but
to it later.
yep.
Yeah.
So I yeah, absolutely really enjoyed this game.
Yeah. I
Um,
would think Cascadia would be like, not that there's too many decisions, but it's like not a clear goal. Maybe that's a better way of describing it, where it's too many options almost
yeah,
to be
like
comfortable.
King Domino was better for her because it was like you're just doing the land and that's it. So, but yeah, the fox is the other animal in Cascadia. So that answered, yeah, foxes. Um,
Yes, the foxes.
so then I remembered I said Ramen Fury was new. I
Hmm.
did pick up the new Marvel Villainous expansion that's got
Oh
Kang
yeah,
in it. We did play some Marvel Villainous this weekend.
and that was on release day, right?
I did get it on release day as I went to
Nice.
Target because one of the characters are Chrome that come in the box if you get the version from Target.
Okay.
Um, but
Oh
that's
yeah,
new, and we did play it. And Kang is for somebody like my youngest son was playing, and he struggles with a lot of the games.
yeah,
Villainous can be tough because it's like everything is different. Every time you play, if you play as a different character, you're doing something completely different.
right.
And he's just like, I want to play as Kang, because of the latest movie with Ant-Man and stuff.
Yeah,
Um, and I was just like, okay, that's cool. And I can see how that character could be devastating. I got a little upset a couple times at that character because just as you're about to do something, you have what you want in your hand. He makes all his opponents reshuffle, take all the
hmm,
cards in their hand and put them back in the deck, and
right.
so it's really neat mechanic of how Kang works. But yeah, he can be not so fun for the others.
Yeah.
But so I forgot the name of that expansion, but it's the latest one. And then I got a game today. I had the opportunity to get another game off the shelf of shame. One I've probably had for around 10 years. We got as a gift a long time ago. And it finally, I'm like, I'm going to play this darn thing.
Yeah.
And that's Splendor.
Nice.
And Splendor falls into that category of Azul, where
Yep. I
I
see what you're
got
saying.
the box, I looked at it, I was like, what is this? And then I read the back, and I was like, what? I'm like, oh, this sounds dumb. The game is awesome. The game is so much fun.
Yeah, it is.
I was like, man, here's another example. If you just have to play the game, you can't look at the box art. You can't even read what the game's about. It's just like you've just got to play it. I love Azul, and I love Splendor. This is like, I'm like, this is so simple. Like when I
It
first looked at
is.
it, I was like, this sounds so dumb. This sounds complicated. It's not. It's extremely easy. It's real
You
fast to
do like
set
two
up.
things, right?
Yeah. And it's
Well, maybe
still
even
got
one, just
a
by
lot of
card.
strategy.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was telling my daughter, because it was her and I were playing, and I said, I really love this. It's fast. You can play a game in like 15
True.
minutes. It
That's
says
true.
like 30 minutes, but I was like, we both won a game each, so we got a rematch tomorrow to break the tiebreaker to see who's
Nice.
truly the
Nice.
champion. And I already told her I'm going to mop the floor with her, but it'll probably be the other way around. And because she is really good at board games, man. She sees 4 and 5 moves ahead. She's
Oh
really good.
man.
But yeah, it's just like I love games like this that are easy to play, easy to set up. Some of them that I do enjoy, it's still like, okay, there's quite a bit of setup to it, and it's just like, do I really want to get that out? Hello, Wingspan. Uh,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
not hard to do that, but it's just like there's so many pieces and different things, and it's just
Hmm.
like I love the game, but it's like Splendor will take me 2 minutes to set up, and I'm already playing. So
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
same with Azul. So, but yeah, that's what I got played out this week. I'm very happy. I think I played more in the last 2 weeks than I played all the month of February. So my March is off to a really good start, to
Very
being better.
nice.
More games played in March already than I did all of February. So
Hmm.
I'm going to keep it rolling. So I've already picked out. I'll talk about it later, but I've already picked out a game that I will get to the table in the next 2 weeks. I'm committed.
Okay.
So
Awesome. Yeah. One thing I wanted to mention about Splendor is there's actually an app available, for tablets, phones,
uh-huh.
whatever. And it's actually pretty darn good. And I mean, I haven't played it in a while, but they used to have like challenges and stuff to keep you coming back and playing it, and it plays really well. Some
Yeah.
adaptations are kind of clunky, but the only thing is, it's like I think you can really burn yourself out of the game. So any app that you play, especially if you play it solo, it can tarnish the game,
Right.
the real game later. Like if you just get so burned out on it, and you're like, oh, I don't want to play that again. Where it's actually a lot of fun to play live.
Well,
But yeah.
this did pique my interest because we enjoyed this so much that I'm like, I've seen Splendor Duel, I think is a pretty new
Oh
version
yeah,
of the game. So I
it
looked
just
up, both
came
my
out.
daughter and I watched a how to play on that one, and we both were like, nah. It's like it seems like it would be it's a smaller game, at least box
Hmm.
size, right?
Oh,
And
tiny.
it's
Yeah.
only intended for 2 players, but it looked like they basically it's similar, but they did enough to change it that it felt both of us felt like they made it more complicated. And it's like both of us were kind of like, nah. And the one thing too that was funny, and I think you've told me this about card size, I immediately could tell. I'm like, and I said to my daughter, I said, oh, those cards look like they're much smaller. And she's like, oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, we'll stick to the original game because we can still play it 2 player. That's what we did,
Yep.
you know. So I'm like, I don't know why I need to buy dual, but I know it's different. But I don't know. Again, I might have to try it, but at least I looked at it. But I was like, you know what? I can save my money. I have the original game, and that kind of goes down to one of those. Well, why do I need to get it if I have one we like and we're playing? I don't necessarily need to go get another one.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah, and
Villainous, because I have
yeah,
everyone on my shelf. So that's gonna. And I know when I'm in the store next time and I see that, I'll be like, let's just get it anyways. It's only $20.
yeah.
It'll probably happen, Rob.
Yeah, there's I don't know, about 5, 6 years ago, they came out with an expansion box for Splendor called Cities of Splendor,
Uh-huh.
and it actually has 4 different expansions in it. So if you're looking for something a little different to change the game up, right, beyond the base game, that might be one to go with if you like the original so much. It's got, I just pulled it up. It's got the cities expansion, so the noble tiles are replaced with 3 different city tiles, and you need to fulfill one of them. Trading posts or special bonuses that you get. Um, then there's the Orient. It adds 3 decks of cards, one for each level of development cards, right? Because there's like the 3 rows. And then Strongholds expansion uh, gives people 3 towers. And when you acquire a new card, you must put it in a stronghold. So it's kind of like just switching
Huh.
things up a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you might want to check that out. Over Duel,
Okay.
instead of the new
No, I
guy.
must have them all.
Yeah, or yeah. Who am I
That's the
kidding?
disease, man. That's the
Yeah,
disease.
I was just gonna say, who am I kidding? You're just gonna get all of them. I know how it goes because I'm the same way. Yeah, but that's it, right?
That is it. Yes.
Yeah. So I went over by some folks, and I brought a whole bunch of games, a big old bag. Is like when I bring games to people's houses, I do options, right? Because I pick out like 5, 6 games. I'm not sure which way we're going to go. And then I kind of feel things out when I get there and I choose appropriately. Because the worst thing to happen is you bring one game and then you wish you brought something else. So you got to
Oh
bring
yeah.
multiple. And, uh, we had our kids playing and stuff. So I brought Escape, Curse of the Temple. It's a game that's been around, heck, maybe like 10 years or something like that. It's a dice roller where basically everybody is working cooperatively. Well, you're kind of doing your own thing, but everybody's working cooperatively to explore a temple, and you're rolling dice, doing kind of like a Yahtzee thing of just, trying to get certain combinations, and you can re-roll certain dice. Other dice get locked depending on if you get these like curse dice, that locks that die, and now you're down. So normally you start with 5 dice, and
Okay.
then if you get the curse die, it locks it. Then there's these golden dice. So one golden dice can unlock 2 cursed dice. And if you're in the same room as somebody else, your golden dice can unlock their cursed dice. And sometimes you need to work with other people. You need to be in the same room to roll your dice. There's like an adventure. There's a key. I thought there's something else. Adventure, a key. No, I think then two cursed dice. Maybe there's only four symbols on them. But the so you work with people to. Man, you're just clicking like crazy over there. By the
Oh,
way.
I'm sorry. I'm surprised you can hear that.
Oh yeah. So
My apologies to
you
the
can.
to the
Yeah.
listeners.
Yeah, so you can hear, you can have other people in the same room with you, and then work towards a common goal. Like if you need to get like 10 keys to um, get these release these gems. But anyway, so it's like you're going through, you're exploring, you're rolling dice, and it's a timed game. So you have 10 minutes to do this, and 3 minutes in you got to go back to the starting point. So there's a lot of stress in this game, and it's part of what makes it kind of fun. So in the beginning, everybody goes out and they're exploring, and you have a certain amount of gems that you have to populate throughout the board before you can exit. And 3 minutes in, you have to be back to the starting tile, and then you can go back out. Then after another 3 minutes, you need to be back. And then at the end of 10 minutes, everybody needs to be out. If you if everybody doesn't make it, a shared loss,
Oh,
right? And if everybody gets out, then it's a shared win. But it's really tense. It's really interesting. The kids did pretty good. I wasn't sure how that was going to go because there's dice that are flying all over the place, hitting the floor, and there's like some expansions to it, which we didn't play with any of those. Where it's like I think it's like if you roll a die and it hits the floor, like you get cursed or something like that, where you have to like play with a hand on top of your head. So you're like playing with just one card. Then there's other curses that are in some of the expansions where like you can't talk because part of the game is like I need help. I need help. Somebody come over here and help me with this, or somebody come over because if you lock all five of your dice, then you can't do anything and you're stuck. And if you don't get out, everybody loses. So people are incentivized to help you. Oh, and I forgot to mention that when you get out, you can give one of your dice, or yeah, dice to, or you can give a die to somebody else. So now they have six, and if you don't make it to the start, those two times where you have to go back to the beginning, then you actually lose a die. So you start off with five, then you go down to four, so you're handicapped. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of craziness. And the thing that was really interesting was that's the only thing that we played because it's like, let's play again. Let's play again. Let's
oh
play
yeah,
again, which is good
right.
because everybody's having fun. And my friend's wife, which normally doesn't play the games, she was involved and she had a lot of fun. So that was cool to get her playing along with everybody. Uh, but being a gamer, the downside was all my other games that I brought and wanted to play, we didn't
Yeah,
didn't play them because I saw it like, well, let's play this. Kind of like as an opener. It's short. It's 10 minutes. Granted, it takes like 20 minutes to explain, but it's 10 minutes. We can play like one or two games of this and then do something else. Well, something else never happened, but that's perfectly okay because everybody enjoyed it. The kids had fun, but the kids actually, after playing like three games, they were done.
yeah.
I don't think we won the first three, but then we won later. But maybe that was the trick. Get rid of the kids,
Yeah,
get them out of the game, and then we actually won. But
there you go.
but it was good stuff. I think that was the only thing that I played. I vaguely seem to remember there was something else, but yeah, I think that was it. So, all right,
Cool.
moving on. So, you have an interesting one here that you want to talk about.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this I
Actually,
actually
it
heard
happened
the
today, didn't it, or yesterday?
it happened today actually.
Yeah.
So I was listening to a gaming podcast yesterday, and they were talking about, they'd asked the question, do you ever play music like that kind of goes along with the theme of the game you might be playing? And I was thinking, I don't, but like when I go to that smaller game store, like when we're doing like X-Wing night,
Sure.
the owner plays like Star Wars themed music um while everyone's playing, and it's really kind of neat. You got the music in the background. And then one night when I played
What, like
D&D over there,
Jabba's hot music?
well, it's just stuff from the movies,
Yeah, like a
but yeah, you
soundtrack.
get all that soundtrack music playing
Mhm.
from all the different movies. So it's neat. And then on D&D night, she was playing some kind of stuff that kind of felt like you were they're in the pub, on your campaign, and it just the music really set. It's like she uses like a Spotify list, and I guess can go into
Sure.
Spotify and search for a game by name, and and we'll find a playlist that I guess someone has curated that,
Oh wow. Okay.
and and that's what she does. And it was just really neat because it really did kind of like add to the ambiance of the game. So when I was listening to this, I was like, well, I never thought of doing that. And when my daughter and I were playing Splendor today, I was like, oh, wait a minute. So I went into to this site that, let me pull it up. I don't remember. These guys mentioned that they use, called Mellow Dice. And you just type in like a game name, and it basically found like it comes up to like a YouTube playlist. And it was just, and we played it. And I was just like, I'm like, this is so cool. Like I felt like I was at the Renaissance Fair. And it
Hmm.
was like so perfect, the type of music for what we were playing, since we were playing Splendor. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is
Okay.
actually really kind of neat. And I think I'm going to start doing this when we play games, just to kind of see how it goes. And I was curious if you've ever done that, Rob.
No, no. Actually, yeah, I just pulled up. Yeah, Melodice music playlists for board games. Interesting. How so? One thing I didn't mention earlier, because I know I saw this in your notes, was that Escape Curse from the Temple actually comes with a CD. Well,
Oh,
this
really?
the first version that came out like years ago, because I mean, who's
Yeah.
got a CD player nowadays? And it comes with a CD that has a soundtrack, and it has like I think a number of different ones, because it is a timed game. We played the basic one, so it starts off with a couple seconds of like some music and some like echoey, like you're exploring a cave kind of music sounds, and then it makes like this noise, which is like, okay, the game begins, or I think it says something like begin or start or something. Then there's 3 minutes of game, and it actually gives you like a 1 minute warning of where you need to get back to the start. And the music amps up. It like gets quicker and quicker, and it really pumps you up. Like you get so stressed, and you're like almost shaking, rolling the dice. You're like you become frantic, because it's like a heartbeat, kind of, like getting faster and faster and faster. And then when the 3 minutes elapse, then there's like a slam
Uh huh.
of, I think, like of a door closing or something like that. I forget what it
Okay.
is, but that's the noise that you're looking for. And if you're at the start, then that means like you can go back out again. But this happens twice, and even towards the end, and it really like creates this amazing ambiance or whatever, much better than if you're just using like a timer or a stopwatch or something like that.
Right.
But and then once the game's over, after the 10 minutes, there's like this like bird chirping, this like peaceful sound. Hopefully you got out and the temple didn't collapse. But that's a different kind of ambiance music, right, than what you're kind of talking about, but it accomplishes the same thing, right? It sets the mood
Yeah. I
and stuff.
think it was really neat. And, I put in like Alien Fate of the Nostromo as a board game I got. And I was just like, I'm curious what that's going to pull up. And it pulls up like a soundtrack to the Aliens movie.
Oh
I'm like,
wow.
oh boy, like, like bet Rob would love this one. So I know how
Yeah.
he likes his alien games.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm like, I typed in a bunch of different things, and like Cascadia came up with something, Parks came up with something, and they all just, it's like there's nothing on the page. You just go to this
Yeah.
mellowdice.org. So it's
Melo.
Melo. Yeah,
Yeah.
dice.org. And it just says choose a board game. You just type in your game and it starts to populate a list. You can select it and it just brings up another page and there's a
Hmm.
YouTube video there and it plays music. So like
That.
it's really cool. I like this and
Oh
I'm going to
yeah.
keep using it and just yeah, it definitely added a lot to our Splendor game. It was really neat to have that Renaissance style music playing. I'm like, so cool. I even looked
Yeah.
up like
I.
dice throwing, and they have stuff for that. I don't, curious what it
Hmm.
would be. And that's the thing too. It's like now it's like okay, Star Trek, Star Wars, things like that. You D&D, you kind of get an idea what it's going to be, but what is it going to be for something like dice thrown? Or maybe Villainous might be a Disney music or something probably,
Yeah.
but Horrified, that would be kind of cool to play because you're playing his monster game and to have that background and
Hmm.
just yeah. And Everdell I think would be a good one too, but I think Everdell would be very similar to like a probably like a folksy renaissancey type of music probably, but
Hmm.
you're playing woodland creatures and stuff and
Sure.
it's yeah, I'm curious now to see the different games I play, what music's going to come up
Yeah.
and
That.
will it enhance or,
Yeah.
take away from it.
Yeah. I just pulled up too because I'm like because I couldn't think of any games that I. It's funny. It's like what games should I do? And it's like you're drawing a blank, and then you just look at your shelf, and you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
there's one. So I tried Imhotep, which is it's a game from Cosmos. I don't know, about 5, 6 years old, and it's Egyptian themed, and it had a whole bunch of like Egyptian music, and then it did Space Base from AEG, and that one came up with some interesting stuff. I'm looking at it right now. 78 songs, 6 hours of music,
Uh,
but I'm looking at this list and I'm raising my eyebrow because there's something that's very suspect on here.
oh yeah.
So it starts off with uh, something from the Interstellar soundtrack.
Okay.
That movie with
Oh yeah.
oh, what's his name?
Yeah.
Matthew
Matthew
McConaughey.
McConaughey.
Yeah, with him. Then it's got Mass Effect, the Normandy theme
Okay.
for all mankind, which is a great show, by the way.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
yeah,
Dude, I can't wait for the next season to get
I know, right? I didn't know you watched that. You've been keeping secrets from
Oh,
me.
yes.
It's a good
Oh,
show.
yes.
Mhm.
That's yes. The best show on TV period, man.
Oh yeah. And then Star Wars, Attack of the Clones, then something from Episode 4, A New Hope, and then Rebecca Black, Friday. I don't know about that one. That
I
one
don't
is
even
like, yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
I'll send you the link. Apparently, all of the kiddos nowadays really despise her, but she's singing Friday, Friday. I know you don't want me to sing here, but yeah, this has like zero to do with space, but it's interesting
Mm.
that it's on this list. But everything else is pretty good.
There is an option to submit a song, so maybe
Yeah,
maybe it's kind of open. Someone can put anything in.
yeah,
Hopefully not, but I'm
yeah. But
looking.
just
Azul has a
yeah,
list of 54 songs, almost three
hmm,
hours long, and it's just all like, and it's nothing I'd ever heard of.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, this is cool.
Hmm. No, it's very neat, and it's interesting. It's cool that there's an actual website that is dedicated to that. It's cool that they actually took the time and did that. And it really
Yeah,
does,
and
and it doesn't have a billion ads either.
yeah, I'm not sure how that works. I didn't hear any ads, but it was
No.
YouTube.
Oh,
So,
well, I got an ad blocker. Maybe that blocked everything.
and I'm a YouTube premium, so
Yeah, me
I
too.
got so frustrated because I do watch quite a bit of YouTube nowadays.
Mhm.
There's several things that I like to watch, and I got so sick and tired of the freaking 3 minutes of commercials for every 5 minutes of YouTube video.
Oh yeah,
So,
and you get
but
YouTube music
I
just
got
good.
I'm
Yeah,
Apple Music guy, so
yeah.
because I have a subscription on all my kids, we all get to use it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I stick to the Apple, and it's all on their phones. So I
Mhm.
mean, granted, YouTube Music would be too, but Amazon gives it to me as well because I'm a Prime, and I'm just like, I don't even use that. I don't
Yeah,
use the YouTube Music. It's like I got Apple Music. I'm like,
there you
I'm
go.
already
Yeah,
good. So
yeah. Looks like Melodice supports donations. You can do one time or monthly.
yeah,
So that's pretty cool.
so I think that's something. If I definitely use this,
Yeah. Hmm.
which I'm definitely going to try it, and if I really do enjoy it, then I'm going to probably I'll throw them some money because that's a really cool idea.
Yeah. Hmm.
So got to support people with great ideas like that.
Oh, absolutely,
So
for sure.
um, the other thing I know that I wanted to talk about, if now you're a longtime gamer, I'm new to the hobby.
Noob.
Obviously, I think everybody's played board games, right? Who
Yeah,
hasn't
yeah.
played a board game in their life at some point? But I mean, kids, especially kids. I mean, I think I played a lot of board games as a kid, but there's a whole different world, and it's interesting. Like my mother, as I'm taking things and showing things to her, she's just like, I never knew this existed. She's like, I can't believe how big board gaming is. And she's like, because I think a lot of people think of it as like for kids. Um, and
Yeah,
and it's
shoots and
not.
ladders and
Yeah, Candyland
sorry,
and
trouble.
Sorry. Yeah. And it's not. It's so much bigger, and it's a very expensive hobby.
Yeah.
Not every board game is $10 at Walmart. So
And
um
and just a funny thing to note, like if you ever like play one of those kids games like anytime soon, just look at the component quality. It's just freaking horrible. It is
oh yeah.
horrible. Like the cards are just like not even cut nice. It's funny like when my son was younger, he got I forgot what game it was. It was one of like the Parker Brothers kiddie games, right? And it came with these cards that were all, I think it was Shoots and Ladders. It came with these cards that were all square cut. I don't think they even had backs to them. It was just plain white. And I have a corner punch where it'll take like a corner of a card and round it off like a playing
Okay.
card. So I actually was using all of my, like not all my, some of my board game stuff to like punch the corners on his cards so they were nice. And I like deluxified the the lousy game just slightly. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going. I sidetracked you.
So, but it's well, I did. You're gonna sidetrack me because you made me think when you talk about the components. Parks, I was so impressed with that game. You open it up, everything is nice. Like it has two trays with covers, so all of the little resources are already in a tray. Like I didn't
Okay.
have to open stuff up and put them into trays,
Is it
or
Game
find
Trays?
trays. They're no, I no, it's
That's
just
the name brand, Game Trays.
right. I
It
don't
might
know.
be.
It's like I didn't buy a special edition. This is just the way
No.
the game came.
Yes, some games are now coming with like really nice inserts or game trays from the
Okay.
get-go. Yeah.
So, and what was nice is like Dog Park has some trays with lids. They're like, and there's two of them, and they're in the shape of a dog bone. But the you really that's more for storage because it just simply just holds the things, and it's like to pull them out. It's like it's not easy to pull a resource out. It's easier to dump them out, put them in piles on the table. But on parks, it's like they can stay in the tray. It's easy enough just to grab them. That everything stays there. You just put the two trays out, take the lids off, boom. The board goes out. The cards are nice. All of the components are just really nice. And I'm like, oh, this
Sure.
is, it's just something that's like, wow, I was so impressed. And I'm like,
Hmm.
this wasn't an expensive game. And the quality on it was far beyond what I expected.
Right.
Like it's really top notch. I was really impressed.
Hmm.
But okay, so
Oh,
back to
and on a quick side note,
on a third
um,
side note.
on a 14th side note, there's actually some cool little. I mean, sometimes they're silicone, sometimes they're like little component holders that you can buy. They're just purely an accessory. You can use them for any game.
Uh-huh.
And it really, you might want to look into them where you can just get them and just keep them by your table. And then as you need to hold resources, you can just have these like little tiny containers. Like I saw there's one, it's like, they fold flat, but they got magnetized corners that you can kind of
Okay.
pinch together. So now it's kind of like, I don't know, think of like a little bowl with four pinched corners, and
Like a dice tray that you would
kind
snap
of,
together, but on
yeah,
a smaller scale.
yeah. And then there's like silicone little cups and stuff, and it just makes having all this stuff loose on the table can kind of intermix. It can kind of get knocked.
Yeah.
Here, it just holds it together. So um, it's some cool stuff you can get. But anyway, go back to your thing, and I'll think of tangent 15.
That's it. You're done.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
cutting you off.
Okay.
um, but gaming is it's seriously not just a kid's hobby. It is very
Oh yeah.
much a lot of adults are into it, probably more than kids are, to
Hmm.
be honest, with just the stuff. But
Oh yeah.
um, what I found is I'm coming into the hobby, and I'm lucky I have built in some willing, some not so willing gamers. My youngest son does not enjoy the board games. He just probably because I get
Yeah.
frustrated with him because he just doesn't read. He'll be like, he'll just do
Yeah.
something, and I'll be like, wait a minute, give me that card. That's not what it says. And he's like, well, that's what I want to do. Like, I don't care. You're cheating. Um, and then of course my daughter's very willing. She's really enjoyed this a lot. She's the one that's like, hey, in fact, today she came home from school and she's like, all right, Dad, what's the rest of your day like? And I said, well, I don't have any meetings. She's like, good, we're going to play a game.
Nice.
And I was like,
You're my
okay. So I
favorite.
walked over and I was like, we're doing Splendor. We're going to learn this one.
Yeah.
And we both loved it. But, um, so if you are, and one thing I found in some of my gaming groups is like, someone mentioned this one lady mentioned this the other day, and she's like, I really like this group because I don't get to play. I don't have anyone that I, can play regularly with. And, I think that's really, for me, it's kind of the same way. I mean, I can force my kids to play, but my second one is about to leave for college. So I'm going to be
Hmm.
left with one who doesn't want to play, So it's like,
Right.
I can't force him all the time because then it's just no fun. Because if he
Yeah.
doesn't want to do it, then he's not playing it right. And then I get frustrated. So it's like, okay, I got to spending all this money. I want to play these games. I got to figure out finding game groups or something. So I thought this would be, I thought it would be good for me to share my experience with this and maybe some things that you
Sure.
have done, or I don't know if you found groups or have been involved in gaming groups per se, but I'm sure you've got a lot of experience or knowledge that we could share with others of maybe how to do it. And also, not only maybe you may know how to do it, maybe you're stressing or you got anxiety. Like, man, this was really hard for me to do when I first started. Um, I'm very, when I'm around people I don't know, I'm very quiet. I'm shy. I don't speak up. I don't say anything. I don't want to, I just kind of blend into the woodwork. And Rob can contest, once I know you, I don't ever shut up.
Yeah.
As I look at our
As
waveforms and I see yours is flat, mine is solid for the last couple minutes.
yeah. Blah blah blah.
But
Yeah.
have you ever like joined a gaming group per se outside of maybe, and I'm talking about people maybe outside of your own friendship group, like having
Mhm.
to go meet strangers that share the interest in board games?
So I personally typically have gamed in three different styles. Number one, of course, there's the gaming at home. Then when I go by people's houses, they are sometimes willing, sometimes accommodating when I bring over the games. But generally, when people get over their initial resistance based on their prior experiences, they usually have a good time and they ask for more. And then there was a number of years where, um, so the um, back when this board game life started, it was Jeff and myself, and you remember Jeff, right? I
Yep.
think you know him, yeah. So it was Jeff and myself, and then Jeff knew some folks, and one of the people that he would hang out and game with was a guy that had like a weekly, at least once a week, game night at his house. So
Nice.
that's what I did for a number of years, and there were a number of people that would just basically roll through there, right? So there was some regulars. I became sort of a regular. I couldn't go. Well, I couldn't go every week just because of family stuff. Because at that time, my son was little, and it would usually be on Friday nights. And I'd get over there at like 8 o'clock. After we would have dinner, and then I would head out and I'd go over there and game till like 1, 2 in the morning, and then do the long drive back. Do you do
Yeah.
those like late at night? The late night, like midnight drive back home after gaming when you're freaking
No,
exhausted.
I've done the drive back home at 8 o'clock in the morning after a long night of video
Oh yeah,
game.
yeah, similar.
You and I have done that many times.
Yeah, it's very
Board
similar.
games, the latest has probably been 10 o'clock.
Oh yeah, because you're at
So,
stores and stuff. Yeah,
well, even at someone's house, it's like, because we
yeah.
all have kids and,
Hmm.
you know,
I know.
you're not going to be up too late, but
Yeah,
definitely not super late.
yeah. But that was cool because at that gaming group there was always something new, and then I had a whole bunch of new stuff that I'd talk about, from the podcast, and then the host of the game night would usually, like, he was really awesome about finding like new stuff and then learning all the rules and then just being able to teach it and stuff. So we usually got like 2 games in, and they were like usually medium to heavy games, which was kind of cool. They weren't all light. And of course, there's little stuff over at like Gen Con and so forth, but uh, I really liked the weekly game night at like a true gamer's house. That was awesome. But I've never done the store thing. Well, except with you. That was like my first time that I actually went to a store. I would go to the store and buy stuff. I just would never play there.
Yeah, and it's pretty sweet when you find a store that has a bunch of stuff. And,
Yeah.
so I, the first one I did was the little store that I talk about, and I was looking, kind of local areas, like trying to find out what's going on, and basically I started by, okay, let's see what game stores are around that might have these events that you can just come in. And because the one I took you to, they had
Mhm.
posted they were teaching Villainous, so it's like you could just go in and someone that works there was basically going to teach people how to play.
Yeah.
And so
And
I took my youngest son and and we went and did that.
and
So it
isn't
was
it
a
and isn't it
huh?
like a lot of those don't a lot of those stores also have like, they might have Magic the Gathering night,
Oh yeah,
Wargaming
both
night.
of these places do.
Yeah, so like board games might only be like once a week, right? Or no?
Yeah, there's Magic. There's what is this
Maybe
one? I think
Pokemon or something,
something called
or
Commanders Club, that which might be Magic. Um,
okay.
but the big store that I took you to, they've got stuff going every night
Hmm.
of the week. Like, and that's
Do
why it's
they
like, okay,
mix?
so when we do our groups, we got to make sure it's on a night that's not like Magic,
Okay.
where there's 50 people there. I think they post too every that big store. They post every week on their Facebook group like how many people attended, and I think they had like 50 people there this weekend
Oh, wow.
for Commanders Club. I think is what they call it, and I think that's on Sundays that they do that. But and there was always showing pictures of it. And it was just like, oh my goodness. So yeah, you can't like I've been in there before, and it's like they'll be doing some special event, and it's like, ooh, we can't get a table, but they have rooms that you can rent as
Okay.
well.
Oh,
So
nice.
that are down in the same area, but you can close the door, so you're not
Hmm.
sitting out in the main area. And the rooms are nice. It's not expensive,
Yeah.
but it is kind of nice. But if we don't have to pay for the room, then we don't. We usually sit out. And normally, like we go on Wednesday nights up there, and normally there's always plenty of open tables because they're playing the games that are on play that night. Is that was it Crisis Protocol?
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's a Marvel game, and they're using like there's a bunch of tables with like
That's that
cityscapes,
fantasy.
and
That's a fantasy flight game, right? With the little
I don't.
miniatures and city
They got
buildings and stuff.
miniatures, I know, and they use like
Yeah.
these cities, and they do battles. So, but it's like a miniature type, like reminds me of like a Warhammer or something. Um, so they're not on the main game tables; they're on these special ones, and so there's always plenty of room. That's why we tend to do Wednesday nights. But like, the place is usually really packed. Even on those nights, there's a lot of people in there. And but so the first time I went there and I was like, okay, it was not as bad because it was like I was still a little nervous because it's like I'm dealing with people I don't know, but I took my son with me and we went and it was like, oh yeah, we're the ones you look at, oh, there's the table with the Villainous on it. So I know that must be the guys teaching it. So I walked up and is this? Yeah, I have a seat. And they just taught us how to play and we got to play a couple of times. And so then it was I saw another store, the small one to the south of me does an X-Wing night. And I was like, I've got this game. I've never really learned how to play it. I'm just gonna go and I'll hang out. And I was really like stressing, like my anxiety. And I never knew I was one to have anxiety. Boy, was I feeling it
Because
this night.
you probably never pushed yourself to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there were several times I was like, well, maybe I'll just skip it. Or, in my
Yeah.
mind, I'm trying to make excuses not to go. And I
No,
had to be
no.
like, no, I'm going to go. I need to
I'm
do
glad you did.
this.
I'm glad you
Oh,
did.
me too. And so I went there and I was just like, trying to basically hide in the back. And I want to be involved. I want to learn. But at the same time, it's like, I'm just like dying inside. I'm like, and I'm like inside my head is just screaming, run. It's like,
Hmm.
why? Why is my
Yeah.
brain going run? It's so stupid. It's a safe environment.
Yeah.
Um, and people kept asking me, oh, you gonna play it? And I was like, no, I said, I never played it. I kind of want to watch. So I was like, I'll just
You're
kind of
a
hang out and
voyeur.
watch.
Yeah.
Well, finally, like people kept asking, and then I was telling myself, fine. If one more person asks me to play, then I'll play.
Mhm.
Which was stupid because at that point I could have said, all right,
Yeah.
you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, why not? But no,
Yeah.
I'm still fighting it. The anxiety is on
Yeah.
full frontal assault. And then finally the owner, she's like, you gonna join in? And I'm like, okay. I said, I don't
Yeah.
have anything. She's like, hold on. And she brings out stuff. Here, you can use ships. Here's pilot cards. Here's dice. Here's, they got it. They're like, just come and join.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
They'd seen your
and
kind before.
yeah, they knew, she knew, we'll keep
Yeah.
bugging this guy. He'll eventually play. And now
Yeah.
I go in there quite often and I'm trying I've played different games there and I've met people there. And it's been so nice to get out and to play games like that. Maybe my kids don't want to play. They might not be interested in
Yep. Mhm.
learning other things that I can now come back and say, hey, we have this game. Let's play it. I think you'll like it. Um, Doing like they didn't really care for Dungeons and Dragons,
Okay.
but it's something like I want to do,
Sure.
and but now I can because I can go and play at either there's
Yeah.
D&D
Oh, yeah.
groups at both of these stores that I can once they have an opening you jump in and and I can start doing that. So, and people, people know me. I'm getting to know people, and in fact, I and one of the things I was like trying to find, like, okay, maybe not, because I was kind of struggling. Yeah, there's a bunch of things going on at a, like Magic Night or this night or that. Well, I don't know how to play those games. I just want to kind of be able to play numerous board games, very different. Maybe this
Yeah.
week it's this, maybe this week
Hmm.
it's something completely different. So then I think it was you that I spoke to, and I think you pointed me to meetup.com.
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
And so I got on there and I was like, I was trying to find like a group, and I didn't find anything. And so I was like, well, I can create a group. So I'm like, okay, we're stepping out of my comfort zone, but we're going to try this, because I know I can always say we'll meet at that big game store. I know you can just go in there and just play. Like that's what it's there for. And so I ended up creating a group, and pretty quickly people were like, "Hey, I'd like to join this." And then it was right after I created one, then the app's like, "Oh, you like board gaming? You might be interested in this group," which was one already set up
Nice.
for the local area, meeting at the same place that I had planned on going to.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, "Well, I wish I would have known about this before I paid to create my group." But so I joined that other group, and then when they scheduled an event, I would schedule one in the event in the group I created for the exact same day, time, and location. And that way it's like, well, we just bring as many people together as we can. And I've seen people that found my group, and then I would tell them, hey, I'm actually part of this other group. And now, like, the person that scheduled all the games for that other group those nights, he moved away. So now I'm doing it.
Oh, wow.
It's
Really?
one of those. It's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
and the owner of that group never comes. Like the person so I had to reach out to him and be like, hey, DJ is moving across country. I've been coming. I would like to, he's the one been doing
Taking
these
over.
smaller groups.
Yeah.
Can I have privileges? And he's like, sure. And so I set one up, and we had actually a pretty good show. We had a good showing the other night. In fact, one of
Nice.
the games we had one person had to sit out and watch because we didn't have enough.
Oh, yeah.
It was like we didn't have, and it wasn't a big enough player game, but it all works out. He wanted to eat anyways. He was running late and was eating dinner, so
Mhm.
he sat there and ate, and he'd move things around for us, for some of us at the opposite ends of the table. So, but no, it was just like, you know what, I'm so grateful that I've took that step, got past that anxiety, and now
Yeah.
here I'm running
That's
a
huge.
group, well, two groups essentially, um, and I'm so excited. Like, I can't wait to go on our, we got the next one scheduled. There's people already like, yep, we're going. Um, it's just, yeah, this is like sweet. So
Mhm.
definitely look on things like Meetup. Now, meetup.com or the Meetup app doesn't cost you anything to use
Right. As a
unless you
member.
create a group. Now, if you want to create a group, then they charge you. It's still not like very expensive, but to use it to find a group, it's absolutely free. So you can look on Facebook or other social media platforms. You can ask at your friendly local gaming store. A lot of them will have event calendars. They might have a Facebook page or a Discord. I know, like, the one store that you went to, they post stuff on Facebook. The smaller store does put stuff on Facebook, but all their events and stuff, they have a pretty big Discord community. And there's like everybody's talking in there, and events are there, and so there's multiple ways to try to find groups to join. And I know it can, and again, you can play different board games. So try to find a board game group. And every time we get together, we don't even know what we're going to play. Usually, like, I'll mention, like, in the meetup or the description, I say, it's a generic, like, hey, we're going to meet up, bring what you want to play. We'll play whatever based on, who's there and what people want to play. If you got something you want to play or teach, just bring it. And then I always bring at least two, but just so I have something, like this last week, I brought Cascadia and Parks, and we played Parks, and then we ended up playing Marvel Villainous. Someone else brought, and it was a great
Yeah.
time.
Hmm.
So yeah, don't feel like all they do is Magic the Gathering, because ask the staff there and check around. They might have a board up at the store talking about events, or people getting groups together. So I definitely encourage it if you really are looking, wish you could play but don't have people to play with. And if you don't have games, most of your friendly local gaming stores have stuff you can play.
Sure.
Mine has a ton of them. You just go look on what's on the shelf and pull it off and play it, put it back when you're done, type of thing. And then if you're joining a group, people are going to be bringing games. So I've seen a lot of people, they just come to these and they don't, like the other day we had 6 people come and only 2 of us brought games. No, 3. That one lady did bring stuff too,
Hmm.
but and we just play whatever the group votes on, or kind of looks like they want to play. So
Or split into little groups.
if you get a lot of
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
like 6 is great. But if we have more than that, then we'll get 2 tables going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So
I really like when like the bigger groups break up into like threes and fours, just because I mean, even some games that support six, the games just take too long,
yeah.
you know. Whereas like three, maybe four is like a sweet spot. And and one other thing I wanted to mention is Board Game Geek does have in its forums, um, there's like different, like Midwest is one of them. I don't know what the other regions are, but you can find the region for um, your region that you live in, and
Mm,
you'll often find like, you know, game group in this city looking for people, or looking for a fourth player or fifth player, or even sometimes like, hey, we want to get Gloomhaven to the table, looking for somebody that's going to dedicate the time.
yeah.
So that's let me see, let me pull it up real quick. Yeah, it's
Regional gaming, it's called
yeah,
subforums. So
regional
there's like the
gaming.
United States. I guess I'm just West, not even the Pacific Northwest. Come on, get it right. I guess I just classify as a West,
Hmm.
which to me is California is West. Oregon and Washington are Pacific Northwest. We are different.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just another place you can check out.
Oh yeah, here's one right not too far away. A library, library. Did I just say
Library.
library?
Yes, you did. I heard it.
Library gaming group for a town in the. Oh, there's another one too.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. I didn't even know that was there. So
Stick with me, kid.
see, that's why I have you on this show.
Oh, I see how it is. Yeah. That is apparently true.
That's why I keep you
Yeah.
around.
And so let me ask you this. Being that, you're doing this thing, eventually, like, you become friends with people, right? Especially the people that, or not friends, you're friendly with the people that are there like regularly. you know would you ever think of like hosting like a game night at your house?
um, yes, I think after a while, I
Yeah.
think it would be fine.
Hmm.
Again, but it would be out to those that um, attend regularly,
Yeah.
that I've gotten to make that friendship with. In fact, one of the guys, the guy that was running late the other day, he actually messaged me in Discord and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to be a little late. I got to stop and get." He was getting some tacos and he's like, "Do you want anything?" And I'm
Oh,
just like,
nice.
"Wow." I'm like, "No, I'm good." But I was like, "Okay, I guess we now are beyond acquaintances."
Yeah.
So I just that was just nice.
It
The guy
was.
considered, "Hey, can I get you something?" I was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
appreciate that." So him and a couple other people. In fact, there was one of the girls that comes on. She drives. In fact, we had 2 people there this last week that they're like over an hour away.
Mm-hmm.
and they're coming down to meet. It's starting at 6 o'clock at night, and we played till like 10. In fact, we basically, they were like, "Okay, guys, store's closed."
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, we'll pack up now. Um, so two of them had to drive an hour plus back home, and it's just like that's dedication. These are people that truly love the hobby. And the one girl was like a couple times was like, hey, she was even offering to get a game day, like she wants to do a Star Trek day, because she brought a game once called Star Trek Panic that we liked.
Oh
And in
yeah.
fact, I ended up buying it, finding it, because it was one of these, it's like out of print.
Yeah.
And I have it now. And I told her on Wednesday, I was like, I want to play this. I got to bring it back. And she's like, we need to do our Star Trek day and either get one of the rooms, or she was talking before about she'd even hosted at her house. And she's like, we'll just have Star Trek movies on in the background and play Star Trek themed games all day. And there was a couple of us who were like, yeah, we'll do that. So
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about doing like a Saturday here where, we'll either get a room at the store, or we'll host it somewhere at someone's house. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And it's just nice because now it's like, it just doesn't have to be always around the store. And then that's when you really are making those friendships,
Oh,
you know?
absolutely.
So getting to know people better, and yeah. So all a good thing, especially after COVID when we've been locked in for so long.
Mm-hmm. Oh, heck
So,
yeah.
but
Okay.
that's what I had for the topics. So
No, that's good stuff. Definitely. And then, moving on, did you get anything new? Well, you already
I
said
did.
one.
I
Yeah.
did.
Or
Well, I
two.
mentioned so I got two.
Yeah.
Now I should have had three
Hmm. I know what
because
this
I
is.
pre-ordered something direct from the company themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and it was supposedly set to arrive. It was shipped UPS. Now, should I remind everybody about my feelings on UPS? When the last game I ordered was shipped UPS,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
it didn't arrive, got lost. The company sent me a new one, but and then 2 months later, UPS goes, "Oh, here's your package," which I gave away this last Wednesday to my gaming group. We did a randomized drawing, and I gave that game away to someone at the group because I'm like, I want it to go to someone that'll probably use it. But so UPS is like, "Oh, we've got your package." This was for Star Wars, the card game, the deck building game is what it is. So it's that released on Friday. It was supposed to be here on release day. Well, then according to the UPS tracking, it was still sitting in the same state that it shipped from 3-4 days earlier. And I was like, well, they've had a lot of snow and bad weather. And then I get a call from my buddy in Chicago who's like, sends me a picture of Star Wars, the deck building game that he just picked up at the store for probably, I think it was $10 less than I paid. Oh, and
And no
he got
shipping.
free, yeah, no shipping, and he got free premium sleeves to go with the darn thing that I didn't get. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, now I'm mad. And so then it was like Sunday, UPS updated the tracking and said that they have handed it off to the post office.
Oh, I hate that.
I'm like,
Yeah.
why? Why? UPS is out here. You've been to my house before. Why are you handing it off to the post office? And
Yeah.
then who knows where it's at from that point?
Yeah.
So I'm like, UPS, you suck.
Yeah. And
So,
I've found that once, like with tracking and stuff like that, once it goes to the post office, it's like a black hole.
oh yeah,
It
oh
could be
yeah,
on Mars for all you know.
yeah. I know. Supposedly it was today. I was at a post office very close to me, but it wasn't my post office.
Well, maybe by
So
Friday it'll get to your post office, and then
I
it'll
don't
get
know.
delivered to your neighbor.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it won't
Yeah,
make it here to me.
yeah,
So,
yeah. UPS
but
is the worst. So
I'm
annoying.
hoping that soon that hits my shelf. It
Yeah.
was supposed to be here.
Hmm.
So I was planning to play it this weekend and talk about it
Yeah.
today. So, but how about you, Rob? Did you get anything new?
Why, yes. I got this game called Star Wars, the card game, and I got some premium sleeves, which are really sweet.
You suck. I remember texting you back. I hate
Yeah,
you.
yeah, I know. And yeah, it was. I ran over to one of the local gaming goat stores here that we have in Chicago, which um, I like because they try to sell everything like 30% off. So it's like just like buying something online, and but you can get it like immediately. Well, if they have it. And so I went over there and I was looking at their stuff and they had those and I'm like, yeah, why don't I pick this up? And it was better than there was some other stuff there that I was looking at that was a lot more expensive. So I satiated the, you know, impulsiveness of the purchase by buying something cheap. But in the end, what that really does is just delay things because the more expensive games, I'll just get them later, I'm sure. But anyway, yeah, I got that, and then we actually talked about it. I think on the last show where I got the delivery notification from UPS that I had something coming like the next day, which UPS then rescheduled. That seems like normal for them. I'll get like a shipping notification that it's like coming the next day, and then UPS has rescheduled your package, and then it shows up like 2 or 3 days later. But yeah, I got the Stefan Feld City Collection, the first four titles, and we talked about these. Where well, I think last time, where it's like, what do you do to continue? You know, do you continue the session like when not series when they're numbered? So I got the first four, and actually, I think it was today that game 5 and 6 funded or they completed their Kickstarters. So I sent you a picture. Do, do you remember the picture I sent you where it was like the front of my house, my doorstep,
Oh,
and there were these two
yes.
big old boxes there?
Huge.
Yeah.
I thought it was
And
a couch or something.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So one box was 4 games in it, and this thing must have been 20, 30 pounds at least. I don't know how much it was. It was really heavy. Uh, I was trying to carry it with one hand, and like the cardboard was ripping. You know, I
Yeah.
stuffed my hand into the like the open seam on the sides, trying to carry it, trying to carry both boxes, and it wasn't working too well. But yeah, so it was 4 games. It was what Marrakesh, which is a new game, New York City, which is Rialto, Amsterdam, which is Macau, and Hamburg, which is Bruges. Um, so I got all those. And the second box, and this is kind of cool, the second box actually had 4 inserts. Actually, it was more than it was a couple of inserts. So they actually shipped the inserts for the games separately. And when I say
Cool.
inserts, that's everything that holds the pieces. So it was like
Trays and stuff like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
premium trays and stuff like that that came in their own separate huge box. Um, so that was pretty cool. And then I'll probably get the other 2 games, which are Vienna and Cuzco. I'll probably get those in like 3 years, because I think these first two took like 2 years. I swear to get here, but it's fine. Um, I only opened one of them, and that was Hamburg. And there's so much stuff in there, and I'm like, this is for another day. 'Cause I was I was on a call when I was kind of like poking through there, and I'm like, I can't focus on this. But yeah, so that's like I think Wait, I think there was something else that showed up. Oh yeah, Helsinki showed up. There's another Queen game that I kickstarted, and Powerline.
Oh, okay.
So that showed up as well. I forgot. I'm looking at the box. That's also a Queen game. So yeah, it's I got 6 Queen games that all Kickstarters that all showed up at the same time, and good stuff. I don't know when I'll get them to the table, but they're definitely going in my shelf of shame.
You mean your floor of
First,
shame?
yeah,
You
yeah,
know you
that's
don't have room
true.
on the shelf.
Yeah,
Don't kid
that,
yourself.
yeah, no doubt for that. But yeah, that's about it for now. Um, should we
So
close it out?
are you gonna commit to playing anything by the next show?
I'm still gonna stick with baseball highlights,
Okay.
the dice game. So I'm keeping that one. I was not able to get it the prior weekend, but this weekend I'm
All right.
hoping to do it.
I like this segment because
Hmm.
it does. It's like, okay, I'm gonna play this. So since I did get what was on your parks and a couple others that would have been on here,
Hmm.
I had to pick a new. So I'm going with Godzilla Tokyo Clash
Huh. Okay.
is on my list for next time to play it. So
Is that like King of Tokyo or something, or is that something different? I'm
it's
not sure if
different.
I'm familiar
It's
with
not
it.
King of Tokyo, but it is it's by Funko Games. It's
Oh,
a you play as they're like got like 4 different kaiju monsters in it, and you basically gain it looks like you gain points by like destroying Tokyo
oh,
and
actually,
each other and fighting each other, the monsters. So
oh,
um
so it's like King of Tokyo, but they actually got the IP. I
could
didn't
be.
have to
I'll
come
know
up with
once I
their own
play it.
monsters. Yeah.
So
Okay, that's cool.
but so that's on in 2 weeks I'll be able to talk about it.
Hmm.
So
Awesome.
it'll be one less on the shelf of shame.
Hmm.
So many more to go.
Oh yeah.
So, but that's it. That's good for me.
Okay.
So,
All right. So, man, what's this? 43?
yep.
Yeah, it is. So I guess that's it for episode 43. And my name is Rob, also known as Rob. I'll catch you on the next show in 2 weeks.
And I'm Mark, and I will see you at the table.